Hello and welcome. I'm the Theory Detective. In these lessons, we'll uncover the mystery that is music theory. Now, we have a whole bunch of intervals so far, but what about really big ones? Really big ones. Like, say, a G to another G. When we first learned the treble clef, we did in fact learn two G's. What's the interval between that? What's the distance between those two notes? Let's find out. I'm doing the counting method, where 2 means a second, 3 means a third, 4 means a fourth, and 5 means a fifth. Let's find out what this is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we have an eighth. That is a huge gap, huh? Let's do the same with this D over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So from a G to another G is an eighth. From a D to another D is also an eighth. Or the next G, I should say, or the next D. And right here, we can have the notes at the same time, stacked one on top of each other. That's G's. We say G and G. Or we can have them one, then the other. Like A, a little higher A, down to A. So here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's our eighth. Now here comes the tricky part, because we don't usually say an eighth. We have them all the time in music, but we don't generally say an eighth. We usually say an octave. Octave meaning like octopus, 8 legs. It actually just means 8. So I'm going to put that, well, I'll put that up here. There we are. Octave, meaning 8. Now, when it comes to the same note, this is a little tricky, because we have a word unison, meaning two notes that are actually the same note, just sung or played by different voices. We can't really do that on the piano, but you could have, say, one person sing this note, the F, and the other person sing that note, the F, so they would actually be singing the same note, F. So this is what we call the unison, and I'll just put a U for unison. However, if the notes were separate, like this octave is, then it would just be considered a repeated note. So I'll put an R for repetition. So it's kind of hard to see, especially with a piano, this really wouldn't be considered an interval. But if you want to go ahead and write it down, because unison is very common in orchestra and also choir pieces where you might have two voices that usually have separate parts. And I put 2 or more of the same note, like that. So orchestra or choir, where you have 2 different instruments or voices playing the same note. But the one that is probably more common for the piano or other keyboard instruments is the octave. The octave is very popular. So definitely write that one down, the interval of an octave, or an eighth if you want to remind yourself what an octave is. Draw number 8 and then put a TH. And I put the distance between 2 notes, where counting the notes, you get 8. And that would be on the back. So go ahead and add those to your practice pile. And if you notice, we actually skipped a couple intervals. Those we'll leave for the next level. But for now, you have the seconds, the thirds, the fourths, the fifths, and the octaves. And those are plenty intervals for now. If you are playing a orchestra instrument like the violin or the oboe, then definitely be aware of unisons so that you hear for which part, which other instrument might be playing your same part, even though they're a different instrument. Or at least, if you're one violin, you might be sitting next to another violin who's also playing the same violin part. So that you could think of as unison in that sense. But if it's two separate notes, one after the other, this is an F, like this, F, and then F again, then that would just be a repeated note or repetition. So I guess that's it for today. Have a great day then.